The map on the wall hasn't changed, but the ink is bleeding. The global policeman didn't just retire, he burned down the precinct on his way out. We are now living in the era of the vacuum.
This is Neural Pulse. Let's analyze.
Welcome back. This is the intelligence briefing for January 17th, 2026. If you've been watching the feeds, you know the word instability. It just doesn't really cut it anymore.
No, it doesn't. We're looking at something the data is starting to call a structural rupture.
Rupture feels like the right word. It's one thing to bend the rules, but what we're seeing today, it's like the rules are just snapping.
The whole connective tissue of the international order, it's tearing apart.
We're opening the file on 4 theaters today. First, the theater of coercion in Eurasia, then a very strange dual reality in the Middle East.
We also have economic asphyxiation in Asia and something we're calling institutional decay right here in the U.S.
It's a heavy slate, I know.
Yeah.
But there is a single picture that emerges from all this noise.
And that picture is that the old guardrails are gone. The UN, central bank independence, supply chains, all of it. Power is the only thing that's left.
Let's start with the hard data. Eurasia, Ukraine, Lviv.
Right. Lviv has always been the sanctuary city, the safe zone.
Exactly. It's the hub for diplomats, for aid, for people fleeing the east. But on the night of January 8th and 9th, Russia struck the city. And this wasn't just another drone attack.
No, the weapon system used was the Oreshnik.
And that name, Oreshnik, changes the entire calculus, doesn't it?
It changes everything. This is a message sent via hypersonic missile.
Let's break down the specs here, because the threat level is, well, it's off the charts. Oreshnik is hypersonic. It has MIRV technology.
MIRV. So, multiple independent targetable reentry vehicles. One missile goes up.
And multiple warheads come down, each hitting a different spot. And the speed is estimated at over Mach 10.
10 times the speed of sound.
And the target in Lviv is only 70 kilometers from the Polish border. 70 kilometers from NATO.
Let's just pause on that for a second. At Mach 10, 70 kilometers is... it's nothing. It's instantaneous.
So by using this weapon, Moscow isn't just taking out a target. They're engaging in what you'd call escalation dominance.
Precisely. They're proving they can hit anything, and we can't stop it. The Patriots, the IRSTs, they physically cannot intercept something moving at that velocity.
So the message isn't even for Kiev, really.
No. It's for Warsaw, for Berlin, for Brussels. It says, we can cut your supply lines whenever we want. It's a psychological checkmate.
And while that's happening, we're seeing what reports are calling the weaponization of winter.
It's a consistent targeted campaign against energy infrastructure. Kyiv, Kharkiv, Odessa.
In Kharkiv, we have at least 4 dead, 6 wounded, the temperature is dropping, and the grid is failing.
It's a medieval siege tactic with modern weapons. Freeze the population, break their will.
But this is where that structural rupture really comes into play, because normally the U.S. would be doubling down on support.
But under the Trump administration, the policy has flipped.
Yeah.
It used to be defense via support. Now the sources are calling it peace via pressure.
The language from Washington is just jarring. On January 15th, President Trump said, quote, Putin is ready to make a deal, but Zelensky is holding it up.
He's pinning the blame on the victim. The obstacle to peace isn't the invader, it's the one who refuses to surrender.
It all goes back to that shouting match in the Oval Office last year, doesn't it? The relationship just broke.
It completely shattered. And now we're seeing reports of the U.S. threatening a total aid cutoff unless Kyiv agrees to a 28-point peace plan.
And there's this new entity being floated, the Board of Peace? What is that?
The Board of Peace is, well, it's the New World Order in a nutshell. It's a rumored parallel organization designed to completely bypass the UN.
So a private club for global diplomacy.
Essentially. Forget treaties and international law. The future of borders will be decided in a boardroom by a few powerful men making transactional deals. The UN becomes a museum.
Okay, so that's the rupture in Eurasia. Let's pivot to the Middle East, because you describe the situation there as a dual reality.
It is. It's the silence and the show.
Let's start with the silence. It's coming from inside Iran.
The data from internal leaks and independent media is just horrifying. They estimate over 12,000 dead in the latest crackdowns.
12,000. And the reason we're not seeing this everywhere is what they're calling a digital blackout.
Total internet shutdown for over a week. It's a tactic to hide the evidence. A silent massacre. They're turning off the lights so the world can't see the blood.
But here's the dual reality. While that is happening, Iran is projecting military power on the world stage. The Will for Peace 2026 naval drills.
The name alone.
Yeah.
It's just Orwellian.
The participants are Russia, China, and Iran, and it's all happening off the coast of South Africa.
Now, South Africa tried to play this down. They claimed Iran was just an observer to avoid angering the U.S.
Right, because they need that AGOA trade agreement.
But the satellite data doesn't lie. We've confirmed the Iranian frigate Nagni and the base ship Makran are in Simonstown. They're not observing, they're participating.
That ship, the Makran, that's a big deal. It's basically a floating military base.
It is. And it shows the tightrope South Africa is walking. They need U.S. markets, but their loyalty is with BRICS. So they say one thing, while an Iranian warship is docked in their harbor.
What does this tell us about where alliances are heading?
It tells us the rogue alliance, Russia, China, Iran, is solidifying its military cooperation right out in the open.
And the West just issue statements.
The West condemns, but the BRICS partners hold naval drills. It shows that in this new era, alliances are purely transactional. Your human rights record doesn't matter. Your fleet interoperability does.
Okay, from military drills to supply chains, let's go to Asia. China's silent sanction on Japan. This feels less kinetic, but maybe more lethal economically.
Oh, absolutely. Bullets kill soldiers. Supply chain attacks kill entire industries.
So, January 6th, China announces new export controls on rare earths.
And not just any rare earths, very specific ones. Samarium and gadolinium. And the regulations target end users in Japan's defense and high-tech sectors.
Let's get into the weeds here. Why those two? Why samarium?
Because samarium is critical for high-temperature magnets, the kind you need in a missile guidance system or a high-performance EV motor. Without it, your smart weapons are dumb and your EVs don't run.
And gadolinium?
Essential for memory devices, semiconductors, the stuff that makes high-tech what it is.
The impact was immediate. Toyota is already cutting production.
50,000 units in North America alone. They are running out of magnets for their EV motors. The supply line just snapped overnight.
And the why here is pretty clear. This is retaliation.
It's a direct response to Prime Minister Takaichi's comment that a Taiwan contingency is a Japan survival contingency. Beijing is answering, but not with missiles. They're using chokehold diplomacy.
It's so precise. Even a company like Toyota gets hit because their tech has potential dual-use applications.
Exactly. And Japan is scrambling. They're talking about deep-sea mining, but that's a long-term science project. Toyota needs magnets today.
So the broader implication is that China is turning Japan into a risk factor.
Think about it. If you're TSMC or Apple, do you build your next factory in Japan now, knowing Beijing can just turn off the tap for critical materials at any time?
Probably not. You go somewhere else.
The decoupling isn't theoretical anymore. It's here, and it's being used as a weapon.
Okay, let's bring it home. The United States. You'd think we'd be insulated, but the dossier points to a serious institutional decay.
This is the part that should keep you up at night. This is existential for the dollar.
We're tracking a Department of Justice criminal investigation into the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell.
The official reason given is the renovation costs of the Fed building, something like $2.5 billion.
Which is a lot of money, sure, but the timing is suspicious.
The $2.5 billion is just the excuse. This is political.
Yeah.
President Trump wants lower interest rates. Powell's refusing to cut them because the inflation data doesn't support it.
So if you can't persuade him, you investigate him.
It's a classic, show me the man and I'll find you the crime move. Powell even put out a statement calling it a threat to force him to align with the president's preferences.
And the market reaction is telling. A flight to quality. Gold is hitting all-time highs.
But here's the key indicator. The dollar is weakening. Normally in a crisis, people buy dollars. It's the safe haven.
But here we're seeing gold up, dollar down. Why is that so alarming?
Because it means the crisis is the dollar. The market is losing faith in the independence of the central bank. If the Fed just becomes a political tool, the dollar is no longer a neutral store of value. The trust is the asset, and the trust is just evaporating.
And that's trickling down. The bankruptcy of Sachs Global.
Sachs and Neiman Marcus, the end of the Gilded Age. A year ago, they were betting on the luxury market. Now they're collapsing.
It means the post-pandemic spending bubble has burst. Even the rich are pulling back.
The liquidity is drying up at the very top.
And yet, there's this bizarre cultural moment happening at the same time. Milan Fashion Week. Dolce & Gabbana's new theme is paparazzi.
I saw the clips. It's the ultimate distraction. Models on a runway surrounded by fake photographers celebrating celebrity worship.
So you have missiles in Ukraine, massacres in Iran, factories shutting down in Japan, and bankruptcy in New York.
And in Milan, they are celebrating the image, the fake flashbulb. It's like the band playing on the deck of the Titanic. It just shows how disconnected parts of our culture are from the storm that's already here.
It's a jarring contrast. So if we step back, look at this whole dossier for January 17th.
Yeah.
What's the final analysis?
The final analysis is that the vacuum is real. From the craters in Lviv to the empty shelves at Saks, the threat is the same. The old structures that provided order, the UN, central bank, supply chains, they're failing.
So the question isn't, will there be war? That feels like the wrong question now.
It is the wrong question. The war is already here. It's just happening in different ways. The real question is, who provides order when the institutions are gone?
And based on today's intelligence.
In the vacuum, power is the only currency left.
This has been Neural Pulse. Clarity in a complex world. See you tomorrow.